You are tuned to the Indraprastha channel of Akashvani. The nation today celebrated the birth anniversary of one of its most illustrious sons, former President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And in our English Talks Chunk tonight, we bring to you a talk on the life and achievements of Dr. Kalam. Entitled Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the man who inspired young minds, this talk is written and presented by Faareha Usmani.
Awal Pakir Jainul Abidin Abdul Kalam, or fondly remembered as Dr. Kalam, was born on 15th of October in 1931 in a small town of Rameswaram in Tamil Nadu. Coming from a humble background, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was a committed scientist who went on to become the missile man of the nation and also the 11th President of India. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was a man of versatility and many accomplishments. He was an aerospace engineer, a scientist, as well as an author. He rose from humble beginnings in his early life and later became a national hero and a role model for the entire nation. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was and will continue to remain a source of immense inspiration for generations of Indians, especially its youth. Dr. Kalam encouraged young minds to be creative and to pursue their dreams wholeheartedly. He took the ambitious venture of teaching and imparted valuable knowledge to his students. Dr. Kalam had studied physics and had earned a degree in aeronautical engineering from the Madras Institute of Technology. He worked as a scientist and as a science administrator at the Defence Research and Development Organization and at the Indian Space Research Organization. Dr. Kalam started his career at the DRDO in the year 1958 by designing a small hovercraft. During his tenure at the DRDO, Dr. Kalam directed two projects, namely Project Devil and Project Valiant. These were important projects that aimed to develop ballistic missiles using the technology of the SLV program. He was the Chief Executive Officer of the Integrated Guided Missile Development Program and played an instrumental role in the development and operationalization of missiles like Agni and Prithvi. It was this success of the program that led to Dr. Kalam being known as the Missile Man of India. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam is also credited with playing a major role in the Pokhran 2 nuclear tests on the organizational, technical and political aspects. These nuclear tests were conducted in 1998 during his tenure as the Chief Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister and as the Secretary of the DRDO. Dr. Kalam's prominent role in the country's nuclear weapon tests solidified India as a nuclear power and established him as a national hero. He was also a part of the Indian Committee for Space Research, which was established by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. The team of rocket engineers of which Dr. Kalam was a part set up the Thumba Equatorial Rocket Launching Station in Thiruvananthapuram, which is still used by ISRO to launch sounding rockets today. Dr. Kalam was also the project director of India's first satellite launch vehicle, which successfully deployed the Rohini satellite into the Earth's orbit. He also played an important role in the development of the Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle. In the year 1998, Dr. Kalam put forward a countrywide plan called Technology Vision 2020, in which he described a roadmap for transforming India from a less developed to a developed society in 20 years. The plan called for increasing agricultural productivity, emphasizing technology as a vehicle for economic growth, and widening access to healthcare and education. Hence, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's contributions to the field of education and technology are immense. He is also known for his work in the fields of education and peace. It was Dr. Kalam's initiative, knowledge, and supervision that helped in making India a nuclear superpower. He believed India had to achieve self-reliance and confidence in order to become a developed nation. In 2002, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam became the 11th President of India. He succeeded the outgoing President K.R. Narayan and served as India's President from the year 2002 till 2007. He is also widely referred to as the People's President and has received several prestigious awards. He is the recipient of the country's highest honors, that is, the Padma Vibhushan, which he was awarded in 1990, and the Bharat Ratna, which was awarded in 1997. After having served as the President of India, Dr. Kalam returned to his civilian life, which mainly included public service, education, and writing. Upon returning to civilian life, Dr. Kalam remained committed to using science and technology to transform India into a developed country. He also served as a lecturer at several universities. He has authored several books such as India 2020, Wings of Fire, Ignited Minds, A Manifesto for Change, to name a few. Besides his professional accomplishments, Dr. Kalam was a writer, a poet in the Tamil language, and a motivational speaker. He was also an amateur musician. He loved classical music and played the veena with utmost elegance. Dr. Kalam also had the skills to read the holy books, the Quran, as well as the Bhagavad Gita equally. He was a peace-loving person, and even while serving as the president of the country, he decided to live a very humble life. Dr. Kalam had a flair for invention and adaptation and loved spending time with students. Dr. Kalam believed in the power of young officers entering governance. He advised that the young bureaucrats must remember that when they undertake difficult missions, problems will arise. But they must focus on how to defeat the problems and be successful. According to Dr. Kalam, governance is judged by how responsive the civil servants are to the needs of the people. He believed that governance should help people to lead a morally upright and an intellectual life, which is possible through the acquisition of knowledge. He strongly believed in the positive changes that education can bring in an individual's life, in society, and in the world. He inspired the youth to be curious and encouraged them to seek answers and to not be afraid to ask questions. More importantly, he taught the people of the country that knowledge is only empowering when translated into action. Dr. Kalam has always inspired the younger generation through his impactful speeches. He is also widely known for his inspirational quotes on success and education. A few of such quotes are: "Education is the most powerful weapon, which you can use to change the world." Another quote: "Dream is not that which you see while sleeping. It is something that does not let you sleep." Quotes like these continue to inspire generations of students all over the world to stay focused on their goals. On 27th of July 2015, Dr. Kalam passed away at the age of 83. He was delivering a lecture at the Indian Institute of Management at Shillong when he collapsed and died from a cardiac arrest. His funeral ceremony was held in his hometown at Rameswaram, where he was buried with full state honors. The funeral was attended by thousands of people, including many national-level dignitaries. Dr. Kalam's sudden demise was an irreparable loss to the nation and to the world. However, his contributions to humanity and his valuable teachings will continue to be carried forward. On 15th of October, we commemorate the birth anniversary of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and reflect upon his extraordinary legacy. Dr. Kalam is the perfect inspiration of how dedication and hard work can help one achieve great things in life, irrespective of one's background or circumstances. His thirst for knowledge and his dedication to his craft were his true hallmarks. While Dr. Kalam's space endeavors were remarkable, his most enduring contributions lie in India's defense capabilities. The guiding light that Dr. Kalam has left behind has illuminated the path to success for so many young and ambitious minds of the country. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam's journey from selling newspapers to leading India's missile program teaches us that success is not about privilege. Rather, it is about the determination and belief in one's goals. It is upon the youth of the nation to hold on to the teachings of Dr. Kalam and strive together to achieve his vision for a brighter and better India.
Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, the man who inspired young minds. You just heard this talk by Faareha Usmani. English talks are aired every Tuesday at 10:10 p.m. on the Indraprastha channel of Akashvani. Do tune in next Tuesday for some useful tips on aging gracefully by Mr. Rajat Sethi, who is approaching 70 and yet raring to take up ever new challenges in life. Please stand by for our next program that follows shortly.